Hello everyone and welcome back to Political Agenda with me, PJ Thum. I'm wearing a red batik shirt and I'm sitting in front of a big map of Southeast Asia. This week on Political Agenda, we have the effervescent Chua, founder of the Tea Project, Singapore's first transgender shelter. And we talked about her life story, her activism, how she came to found Tea Project, Alicia Community Centre, the state of transgender rights in Singapore, sex work, the sex worker community, the nature of activism in Singapore. We even talked about religion. So this was a really wide-ranging, interesting, and extremely high-energy conversation, which I'm sure all of you are really going to enjoy. As always, if you like this, if you enjoy what we do, please do support New Narrative by going to newnarrative.com/join to join as a member, or you can donate at newnarrative.com/donate. And now, Subhash.
Stay where you are. We've come way too far. Where you think that you're gonna go? This is utopia. Please stay where you are. We've come way too far.
Okay, so welcome to the show. As always, my co-host, Sean Francis Han, Editor-in-Chief of Wake Up Singapore. How are you doing today, Sean?
I am doing really good. I mean, I'm always excited to be talking to June. You know, we go way back in the day. And yeah, she's a character. She's got a lot of interesting things to say. But yes, before we jump into this story, right, I am wearing a green basic tee and my pronouns are he, him. So, June Chua, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thanks for inviting me.
How are you feeling today?
Very hype up, roaring to go.
I can see that.
And before we start, can you explain to me the meaning of effervescent?
Effervescent?
Yes.
You know those Redoxon tablets you drop in water and it bubbles and fizzes like crazy?
Okay.
That's effervescent. So
Yes.
you're always bubbling, fizzing,
okay.
you're giving off so much energy, excitement.
So I set the tone already, huh? The tone of this interview, huh?
All right, very good.
Okay.
So let's jump right into it. Okay, June, who are you? What is your life story, and how did that life story kind of lead you into activism and the work that you do?
Okay, but I asked this question so many times already. So I got a standard template question on. so I always
Give us the juicy bits that you haven't.
Okay,
told yet.
I always introduce myself as a transgender woman living in Singapore. Become aware I'm a transgender at 12 years old. Underwent HRT at 15, 17, gender reaffirmative surgery, and then since then I've been living my life legally as a woman, living my life as an individual, and entered the sex industry at 21. 20 years later, very boring, don't know is it menopause, thinking of what to do next, right? Should I do sex work for another 20 years to get a limited edition Louis Vuitton, or should I do something else? Of course, I choose the latter. I choose to do something else, and that's the birth of the Tea Project. I don't have the cliche like life story. I got leave my six-figure work as a own self-insert banker, as a
Lawyer.
professor, lawyer, own self-insert. Then suddenly feel for the community, want to do something fun. I don't have I think it's like sex work is very overrated. It's very mundane, very repetitive. The 3 months into the work are very boring already. But I still do very boring. So I still do for 20 years. So I think it's that at that time, I think it's time for career change.
Okay, so that leads me to the question:
Yes.
how did you get into activism? Like, at what point did you feel like this is something I want to do?
I never get. I don't know what I do is activism. Till now, I'm still very blur what is.
I mean, you said
Activism,
instead of getting the special edition Louis Vuitton,
Yes.
you went another direction. So
Yeah.
what made you go in that other direction?
Boredom, lor. I'm bored with my work. I want a career change, lor. But I don't know what I do at that time. That time is very naive. So that time I don't have the notion or no ambition, very naive. I don't know what I do is activism. I just wanted to do something for my community because I always feel very blessed. Even though even though I'm a sex worker, I feel very blessed, man. I love sex work, man. So I didn't know at that time like what I do will grow so big. What I do will garner me multiple awards. What I do will lead to interviews, will lead to going attend conference overseas. I didn't know. At that time, very naively, I thought do a shelter because I see a lot of my friends when they reach old age, they become homeless. So I thought of doing a shelter for them. So my intention is really, really very pure. I really don't have like thinking, wow, and I don't have plan one. Like you want to start something like, wow, your academia, what sustainability plan lah, 5-year plan lah, or how should we go about? I don't have one. My plan is just talk lor. That time I don't know, I know nobody outside of my sex work community. So I just think that time, at that time I think I'm the only talkative, very out and proud transgender sex worker. So I was invited to every talk. Interfaith talk lah, inter-uni talk lah, NUS lah. I leave school very early. So I didn't. So that's the way I always tell people. That's the way I enter university. Through the invite. Sometimes I feel like I'm an alumni of NUS. I go there so many times a year, but COVID-19 no lah. But before COVID-19, go to NUS, invited NUS so many times. Take the D2 bus. Go to Utah, correct? No joke, I feel like they should give me a doctorate. No, that's 50 years. 50 years.
Okay, so what was that? What was kind of like the first step?
Before you ask the question, I just want to say Nelson Mandela made the same joke when he was given an honorary doctorate at Harvard, that he actually didn't, he didn't have all that education, and even when he was young, he was told, you won't amount to anything, you'll never go to school, whatever. But then because of all he did, he got invited to so many universities, and then that's how he entered university, and now he got, at that point, he got a doctorate from Harvard. And if only that man who had told him, you'll never amount to anything, could see him now. So, you, Nelson Mandela, is the same thing, right?
No lah, don't want, I'm floating already, But please, stop it,
Okay, but I want to kind of get into this, which is like, you started the T project, which we'll get into in a bit, right? In 2014, which is a transgender shelter for trans people, right? But that sounds like a very big project, right? What was kind of the first step that led you up to this big project?
That's why I told you.
What was the early days of your work, of you giving back to the community?
That's why I told you I'm very naive. I didn't know setting up a shelter, so many things to consider. I just very naively think, I want to do a shelter. So whenever people invite me to talk about transgender journey, my stories, I always never talk about what pronouns, what our gender identity, what align with what we feel inside, outside. I never talk about this. I always thought, my sex work community, why we enter sex work, why we become homeless, there's no social service support, and why we need a shelter. My thought is always 5 minutes I finish my life journey already. Then the next 1.5 hours I talk about why there's a need for a shelter. You say I started T project in 2014, yes, but the preparation work, quote unquote, is started when I'm in 2011.
Okay.
Yes.
So it took you 3 years to build it up, to set it up.
Is at that time I was at the interfaith dialogue, talking, and then CEO, Home, I can say now, Home, the CEO of Home, that time is Bridget Tan, hear me talking about the need for a transgender shelter, right? Next day, email me and say she's starting a shelter and she's willing to share the shelter with me. Of course, I say no lah, why I want to share my shelter with anyone? Of course, I say yes. And that's how T project came about. And why why I got T project is because at that time, it's a very sad story. At the time, the funding is to help the migrant workers and domestic helpers. So they were asking me to keep a low profile because they're not sure the funders will want to fund the homeless transgender community. Oh my God, we've seen that's a human being, half a human being. That time very sad lah. But I big mouth one I tell everyone. Actually, when the moment I move inside, I tell everybody it's funded. It's Home give me one. Although they tell me not to tell.
All right, so
I'm a bit mouth one.
Okay,
yes.
so let's kind of get into that's the origin story, which is but what is the T project? So it's Singapore's first and only currently still only shelter for trans people.
Yes.
But what is it? What is the day-to-day operations? What is the goal and the aims of the T project?
Okay, after I managed the T project for now since 2014 till now, right, I realized they are homeless, but they are also capable person.
Yes.
They are also they're capable. It's just that at that point in life, they met some overwhelming challenges. They cannot overcome, then they come to my shelter. It's not that they are lazy or they need a job. Oh my god, the early years people like homeless equals to get a job equals to you're not homeless. My god. But there's such a, you have to cross mountains and oceans in order from a homeless person to be not homeless again. So I don't have I don't have ambition. I'm a very lazy person, so I always tell people my shelter is a safe space. I'm just a former sex worker. I don't have the expertise what provide programs lah, you all like to what financial literacy program lah, provide job training lah, counseling. I'm just a former sex worker, so from the start, once more in 2014 when we got we do a success 2016 when we did a successful fundraising, right? I always insist the residents that stay at my shelter must be attached to a social worker.
Okay.
So the hardware they will do all the what counseling if the resident need, the SSO, the apply for financial aid, apply for rental flat. But now after so many years, T Project is very equipped to do all that already. Apply financial aid from a resident. You must understand homeless is just the tip of the iceberg. They can come with statelessness issues, addiction issue, mental wellness, attempt suicide. Now we have a mentally challenged person also.
Wow.
So not only homeless, and this is all the multitude of issues that they come with. And also I'm the first and only shelter that admits person with HIV. Transgender person living with HIV. I think I'm the only. I have received inquiries of people who are rejected by other shelters just because of their medical condition. Yes, and I can tell you the years of managing the shelter, they got a lot of multiple dispute, but nothing about whether someone is HIV or not.
Okay.
It's never. Yes.
What are the difficulties and challenges of helping or working with or living with somebody with HIV then? Because I don't understand why would another shelter not want to take this person in? Is it
No, there are shelters for HIV person, but it's very binary.
All right.
It's male or female.
Sure.
But then if there's transgender person or person with gay sexual orientation, if they discover or they know, they will reject. They will reject. And then again, if a gay, you cannot see the appearance, right?
Yeah.
But appearance you cannot see, but then they feel not safe. So that's why my shelter is so important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what goes on in the day-to-day operations of the T Project?
Now is
what does your day look like?
okay. My objective of the residents staying there, right? My only objective is to get them permanent accommodation. In Singapore, that means applying for BTO flat. No lah. That means applying to HDB for rental flats.
Okay.
Because so they are all from the same community, so easier to get to buddy them up. So I got a buddy system. So they stay together. So they found that they are okay. A and B found that they are okay. They can get along. So I'll ask them whether they want or not, and then they say okay. They can stay together. So I apply rental flats for them now because many successful cases, whether is by a joint tenancy of the resident or single tenancy. Yes.
So I want to sort of call back to something you said earlier, right?
Yes.
Which is that there are a lot of older sex workers or older trans people who become homeless later in their lives. How does that happen?
This is PJ time, not older, elderly.
Okay.
PJ time is a PC one, the words you use.
So how
It's because before T Project for the last 50 years, there are... Oh man, I made PJ time laugh. I break him. Because they're always so serious. Oh my god, I can go back already. My goal is achieved. No, you must show people the humorous side of you. Okay, your question is...
Yes.
Oh,
how does it happen? Yeah,
because
you would think that, right? Like, the older you are, sort of like the more stable, you kind of found your place. Yeah, how does that happen? Like,
because there's no social service support for the last 50 years before T Project. So if you by some, because you work by whatever reason, when you become so sex work is a vicious cycle. So when you're young, you can have customers, you can have a lot of customers. So you can maybe rent a condo, 2 dogs, 5 boyfriends. Then when you're getting older, 30, maybe downgrade. You cannot earn as much already. Downgrade maybe to a 3-room flat, 1 dog, 1 boyfriend. Then when you get as you get older, earning power is lesser and lesser and lesser. It can even be zero. That's when challenges come, and that's when they need help. And that's when they cannot get help because there's no transgender-specific, transgender-focused social service support in Singapore. And that's when they realize they don't have job skills beside the multitasking, downsizing. But it doesn't apply to the real world. So then they realize, oh my God, that's where when they find themselves in a very helpless state, and that's when T project come in.
Yeah. So so how would you address this situation, right? It seems like a very difficult bind.
To make sure elderly person.
Yeah, because if you're kind of you don't have a lot of skills, right?
You mean
No, not you. You are.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hold on. Can I clarify? When you say don't have a lot of skills, I mean, so what is the nature of sex work in terms of like the Employment Act? Are they considered self-employed? Do they have to file taxes? Or did you have to file taxes? Did you have to do accounting for all the money you take in? So in terms of like all this very boring bureaucratic stuff, when the state looks at a sex worker, how does
I don't know, but at that time, when our sex workers, at that time when we do sex work when we're young, right, we don't care about all this. We're living our fairy tale life. We financially stable, independence. So we never think of like want to file tax, want to file CPF.
So inland revenue never come after you and say, hey, you never pay your taxes. CPF never come after you and say, why you got no CPF filing?
Can I say this? Will they come after us now after you say?
No. You just clarify like what is the situation.
There's no declaration, no. That's why we all don't have CPF. We don't have. I don't even know that at that time, when you're a sex worker, your world is the sex work community. We don't even know. I don't even know what must file tax, what is CPF, central. I don't even know all this.
So to the state, you're basically invisible. You don't pay tax. You don't have CPF. You don't have HDB.
And that's where the challenges come in, no?
Right.
That's when they want to buy house, when they want. That's when the challenges come in. But then again, I see the positive side because you don't have CPF contribution. It's very easier for you to apply for financial aid from the government because there's zero contribution. So for the government, zero contribution, it never work long.
And then what was I gonna ask now? It's a cash. Is it all in cash?
Cash.
Nowadays, is it still? Do you know if it's still in cash? Because like one point of why government wants us to do more e-transactions is because they can track and trace or transactions to tax people.
That's why it's all in cash. That's why during COVID-19, when the government come out all the scheme, all the grants for people who lost their job to apply, that's why a lot of sex workers go and apply but cannot because you don't have the paperwork.
Right.
So they don't have the paperwork, so they cannot apply for that grant. Okay, my stand is sex work is work.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
So they're gainfully employed, but just because they don't have the paperwork, all this, right?
Yeah.
So they cannot apply for that grant.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I'm still very, very curious. So
Yes.
if let's say we have an elderly person who comes in, or an older person, right, comes in, and as you were saying just now, they're experiencing difficulties because they're coming out of the sex industry and they don't have many skills outside of sex work. How does T Project come in to assist this person?
Okay, what is the immediate needs of a homeless person?
Food and shelter.
Yes, so food, okay, shelter, right? So permanent accommodation, right?
Yes.
So my main objective is get them permanent accommodation through a BTO flat, through rental flat from government. So I try to apply rental flats. That's my main objective. And then what training lah, counseling, all this, I leave it to their social worker.
Okay.
Because I leave it to their social worker. And then we got a lot of successful cases. And then you'll be surprised. Once they find stability in their life, once they got a place to call their own, oh my God, all their capabilities and potential come up. They own self go and find. I got one own self go and find job. Now got 3 cats, looking after 3 cats and 2 plants in the house. So I never see homelessness as a problem that need a solution. I start see them as at that point in time they need some support, and I can come in and support them. Why not? I don't have ambition. I want them to become useful citizens, contribute to society, train them. I don't have. The funny thing is, when I was a sex worker, then I attend all those workshop for sex workers, right? The first workshop I remember is literacy. The first workshop I know is writing resume. I mean, you say sex work is work, right? Why the first workshop is writing resume? I mean, I find it's very oxymoronic, lor. You want to empower sex work, you say sex work is work. Then when I go to all these workshops, it's like financial literacy. Like I'm a sex worker and definitely is poor. I definitely cannot manage my finance. And then the next one is what? Resume. I definitely must leave my sex work. No. Why I'm here today is because of these workshops. Because I really feel very fun. They inspire me. I was just looking at them and said, financially, oh my God, got saving, I buy a house already. Then they asked me, write resume, but I'm happy working at sex work. Well, I don't need to learn to write a resume, right? So they really inspire me to come up because I see they are not helping my community. And then it's always a cisgender telling the trans community what to do, or the gay or lesbian. Then I'm very fed up. Okay, not say fed up, just say, I feel, I don't dare to say, but I feel I can do better. I feel I know my community better. I feel that these are not their immediate needs. To me, it's the shelter, I feel. For me. Human rights, like your activists, right? I always ask people, is providing shelter, food, human rights? Human right? I mean, but it's never talk about one. Always talk policy change. Always talk about this, talk about that. I have never seen anyone talk about homelessness. And I've never seen anyone talk about providing food, the basic Maslow hierarchy of needs. Okay, I got study a bit.
But I think it's a question of scale, right? Because when we talk about policy change, you change the government's policy, it affects 5.96 million people. Whereas if you're trying to provide food and shelter, you're affecting one person at a time. So it's just a question of ambition for us. But it's the same. Wait. But I'm saying it's the same thing. Yes, I'm saying what you're doing is correct. I'm just saying it's a question of scale, and I think that's why activists might want to focus on changing over especially in Singapore, where government is so powerful, right? If we were in a country where the government is not as powerful, then there's a lot more space for us to start our own thing, provide food, provide shelter. But in Singapore, you do that, and you quickly, as you yourself experienced, run up against all these government restrictions and problems. So not to. So I just want to say that these are all valid things to do, right? And that you what you're doing is great. But you can see why people might want to do it try and influence the government rather than do it one by one.
I think just now, I really, really want to refresh what you said just now. Like, okay, I already said I'm not ambitious, so I can only help. In my limited skills, I only help 30, 50, 100%. But then you can't get what audacity you have to say that you want to help 5.9 million person. That means the person I help is not valid.
No, of course they're valid.
It's not valid. So I help those 30 or 100%. So when the policy change, at least those 30 and 100% is alive to enjoy the benefit of the policy change.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
I think it comes together, right? We have people working on the ground, and we have people pushing policy, and then so both of them need to be done like simultaneously.
Okay. I just have a question for you, because you said these workshops for sex workers, right? They teach things which sex workers don't need. So what should these workshops for sex workers offer? If you could offer workshops for sex workers, what kind of extra skills?
I will not offer workshop because I always tell them, I will see them as capable person. Offer workshop means they are limited. Offer workshop means they need help from you. I very hesitate to do this, do that for my sex worker. I want to ask them first what they need.
Okay.
I always want to ask y'all do the outdated. Y'all study and they're outdated. What works? Okay, what works 20, 30 years doesn't work now already. They got workshop, man.
So what do sex workers and trans people need right now who are in this situation? If it's not workshops and it's not resume writing classes, then what exactly is it?
Inspiration. Inspire them. I was very inspired when I go to attend all this workshop. I didn't attain many skills, but I was inspired. I should be the one. standing there telling my community what to do, not them telling me what to do. I really know already what all this, and it's not my needs. What it's not my immediate needs. What this is what I feel. I'm a disclaimer. I'm a disclaimer. This is all my personal views or personal opinions. Doesn't represent T project. Doesn't represent the transgender community. And like we're so diverse. Now I talk like that. Like you invite another trans person, it will be a totally different scenario, totally different conversation. So okay. So I don't workshops. What the government do is very good law, because they got the skill future when they attend 60 hours, they got monetary rewards. I think that's really helped a lot. A lot of people always ask us go for training. Oh, you want to leave the sex work, you must train. I agree, but then during that training, maybe 6 months, where's their income? Let's say the training is 5 days a week, then they still need to do sex work, right, to supplement their income. Is there a travel allowance? And then can you guarantee that after the sex worker training 6 months can get a job? Can you guarantee? No, they wait 6 months already. What?
Yeah.
Correct. There's no guarantee. And then also, so I like the sales. I like the government skills future scheme, because you can study and you got monetary rewards if you attend like 60 hours. I love that scheme.
So now that we're sort of talking about the government, right? How has the government kind of you're very excited about this?
Very excited. I show different side of government ma.
All right. So how has the government come in to sort of help the situation or to aid the situation?
The government have always helped us even since 1973.
Okay,
when we got gender marker changed after surgery.
Yeah.
Thailand is still fighting for it.
Yeah.
So in 2020, Thailand is still fighting for gender marker change after surgery. So but we got it in 1970. Thank you, Mr. Lee. 谢谢你. See you later. So you see, so the government actually is helping. Is helping us because we got ease of travel, so we don't have to worry about it. But okay, let me. What's the question? Sorry.
So how is
editing one?
Yeah. I mean, I just know that because you have funding that comes from the government, and you've spoken to Mr. Shanmugam as well. So I was just wondering, what is the role that the government has played in helping your community?
Clarification. I still don't have funding from the government yet.
Oh, okay.
Yet. Yeah, very proud myself. So proud. I need my statue, my picture, and a plaque. So Mr. Shanmugam in late 2019 came to visit the T Project shelter. I think that's the first minister that ever visited LGBT organization. Came down personally. Oh my God, the security guards so handsome. 6 of them. All is handsome one. All hand-picked one, I tell you. Okay, and then that is the.
Yeah, so he came down. What happened there?
He came and visit, and then he really. Okay, you must understand. I always have this chip on the block that I don't have a university degree. I'm a sex worker, so I always overthink things. Should I do this? And then I always ask my friend. So many people ask me, always tell me what should I do, what I shouldn't do. But luckily, I always follow the instinct, the instinct and the inner voice of a sex worker, and that makes T Project grow so much. Instinct and voice of a sex worker. Okay, so when he come down, he actually give T Project credibility. I feel more people. No, I think the civil servants, social worker feel more safe to refer clients to our shelter. And then I know they all say that Minister Shanmugam, God bless you, that the he coming down to the shelter is performative activism. But then he really, after he visit my shelter, it really opens up a lot of doors for me. So T Project is now can be go inside. We are now prison defenders, but because of COVID-19 so we haven't. The training is next month. So we can. I think it's the first transgender person go inside the prison to befriend transgender inmates. Then we got a lot of things happening after he arrived.
So I sort of want to hand you now the scorecard, right? How would you rate the government's help or work, in improving the situation?
That's why you want report cut all this. I don't know
What are the sort of okay,
I'm sex worker. I'm very short-sighted one. I don't have ambition one. I just think that he come down. He opened up doors for the T Project. I know you all want to a broader picture, bigger picture. Okay, 5 years down the road. I don't have.
Okay, just tell me one thing that you feel the government could do better. could just push a little bit harder? One thing.
Should have mandate all the family service center to engage T project for their trans sensitivity training course. It's a paid course.
I quite like that. Yeah. I think
they
that's,
should. I found, because I met very good social workers also, but then I met, oh my god, social workers that need more training lah. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
Social worker that need more training lah. Let's put So I think I must mandate like every social worker there's a course law that they must attend trans sensitivity course. It's so that also generate income for T project ma.
It's a win-win. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a win-win. Oh, sorry, I don't know. I really don't have the capacity to think like 5 years later or what I want for the I just think I'm very short. I just think what is good now for T project. So I'm a very pragmatic.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Lee Kuan Yew. I learned from you. I'm very pragmatic and I'm a realist also.
Yeah.
I guess another question might be like, are there specific laws that you think might be changed, right? Because one of the criticisms of Shanmugam is that he says the right things, he performs the right things, but he can actually change the law. He's Minister for Home Affairs. He could actually change the law and he doesn't change the law. So people are like, what's the point of him saying, we should be nice to LGBTQ people and coming to T Project when he can actually change the law to make life better for LGBTQ people so that you're treated equally in society?
Okay, before I answer that, I must tell the people that I voted for PAP.
Okay.
3 times already. Even I live in Sengkang, I also vote for PAP. Before I
you live in Sengkang?
Before I answer your question, I really don't know. I would say I'm not Minister Shanmugam. I don't study law, policy making, or degree of sociology, so I cannot answer for him.
Okay.
Can?
Okay.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Can?
Yeah, fine.
And then what policy should change? I say law must, all social worker must attend a sensitivity training course by T project. All social worker and family service center cannot reject clients who are LGBT.
Okay, so here let me just suggest one thing. On our IC it says
Yes.
male or female. Should we have at least one other option on our IC to say, to have another gender apart from male or female?
I got do my homework one.
Okay.
That I will just tell you. Actually, our IC can already reflect. Our ID photo can already reflect the preferred gender you look.
Right.
So even your sex is M,
Yeah.
you can have full makeup and long hair like me like
Okay.
that. So our photo ID already reflect the true gender that you are in your everyday life.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I know it's not.
No, don't worry.
That's the answer you want to give,
Yeah.
and that's
I got do my
it's
homework
valid.
one. I got do my homework one. Okay.
You came
so
prepared.
it's progress. So
Yeah.
it's progressing lah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the way that I've always seen is that some pros and some cons. here,
Yes,
right? Like
yes.
I think it's great that you can reflect your gender identity on the picture on
Yes,
your IC.
yes.
But the M and F still feels a bit like it's quite binary, no?
Okay, yes, but small steps, dear.
Small steps, baby steps.
All
Alright.
Small steps.
Small steps.
I
Alright.
always say T project. Now I'm like non-answering your questions, but I always tell people that as you could ask me how I envision T project, right?
Yeah.
One way is I envision we could be 20 years or 30 years later when I'm old already, when I maybe not around already. T project could be, if we survive, if we still exist, could be the biggest advocacy group.
Okay.
Because now I'm building bridges.
And you say you're not like ambitious.
I said I'm not around already, man. I could be
Okay,
not around
alright,
already, man. Now the youngsters, how can I control them, right? My predecessor or the one that's going to take over me, correct or not?
Successor.
Because I also see T project, if we are successful, there won't be a lot of people that need shelter.
Yes.
Especially the younger generation now who going to be elderly in the next 50 years. Because now the society is so safe, parents are educated. I have seen lesser and lesser cases of people who are evicted out of their home because they are transgender. I'm seeing more cases of parents, affirming parents that accept their children. So I think as what I always say, my work is to be redundant. Everybody asks how CT project, for the shelter part is to be redundant. We don't need the shelter anymore because there's no homeless people and there's no homeless transgender people anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so
if I make a point here, I think this is actually a broader point that needs to be made, that and especially like you kept saying sorry PJ, when you said something that was positive towards the government, right? I don't think any of us are anti-government or against the PAP. We're just against specific things that they do, or specific things which are hypocritical, or the fact that if we just speak up and give our opinion, they somehow, and we disagree, they crack down on us, right, just for disagreeing. So I don't think any of us are against the PAP or against government. We just want to be able to express our opinion and try to fight for a better country, a better society, right? And then what you said reminds me, I don't know if you've seen that old Stephen Chow movie, King of Beggars. But at the end, the Emperor of China says to him, basically says, I'm afraid of your power as King of Beggars. And Stephen Chow says, well, if you just reduce poverty and make sure that everyone is well fed and has a roof over their heads, then I will have no following whatsoever, and you don't have to be afraid of me. And that's the same for the PAP. If you're so upset when people raise problems, well, just reduce those problems, right? Instead of attacking us, address the problems, have fewer human rights violations, don't crack down on people who are just trying to express their opinion, right? Help people who are trying to make a difference, like June here, and then you've got nothing to worry about.
That's why I'm here, lor. That's why I asked you to say a lot of people reject you. That's why I self-invite myself. That's why I self-invite. That's why I want to I know you are not anti-government. I know you are not anti-government. That's why I want to hear. I'm here, sitting here, you're interviewing me. I want to show you there's another way to engage with the government. There are ways to go to reach the government. There are a way for you to make the government listen to you. That's why I'm here to tell people that you are not anti-government, but that perhaps you can change the way how your approach. I don't know lah. That's why. Because if I are anti-government, I won't be here, because Tea Project is always about building bridges. Yeah. So I want to show the another side of your. Because you always invite all the say the same thing one. So I'm here to say that you can actually say the way you do things, the way you say things can be do it in a different way, lor. So to reach more, because all our objective here is to build a better life for Singaporeans. So I can doing my way, you're doing your way.
And I hope we can have more people who are who are being activists in very different ways on the show. I'd love to talk to more people, because there's so many ways of doing good, and we don't have to restrict ourselves to any one way. We're all trying to just make a better Singapore. So
yes, we are all trying to make in our own way, our own limited resources, our own limited capacity. So I cannot like, don't build bridges, then go jail, then go overseas, cannot cane, then go overseas, gain the human rights award. I cannot, because I got house loan, I got mother to look after. Sorry,
Okay, I wanna.
Okay, I know you're gonna edit that out.
Okay,
no, that was great. That's the thing.
So earlier you mentioned, about social services, about the mental health dimension of the LGBTQ situation in Singapore, right? Can you talk more about what is the mental health dimension here, right? And also, I think while we're on that, what is Alicia Community Centre?
So I cannot rest on my law. I cannot rest one. So in 2014 I started the Tea Project. 2016 I moved to a new location after successful fundraising. I moved to a new location, new location 2016, and then in 2018 I started Alicia Community Centre. That is a safe space for the transgender community at large. We are targeting aligned with the government.
So it's not a shelter, it's just
no, it's not a shelter, it's a safe space, a drop-in center. So you got a tiny museum displaying local transgender artifacts. So because I was I was invited to I went to the US under the IVLP program. So it's International Visitor Leadership Programs. So to visit the state and to learn what they are doing. So it's the first, I think it's the first all trans delegation from different countries. So then we visit the Stonewall Park. Then everybody was very excited. That's where Marshall threw the first stone, not the gays, but the why am I saying you? I don't know. Sorry. Why am I like when I say gay? I do. So we threw the first stone. But then it's the transgender history. But then it's not my transgender history. It's not a Singaporean history. Again, aligned with government Singapore Heritage Hor. So I started at Alicia Community Centre. So there's a small museum there showcasing or displaying artifacts or transgender history. That's Singapore transgender history. So we got posters of Saint Jack, the first Hollywood movie who featured a transgender actress.
Okay.
So when they say the first Hollywood actress, first transgender actress is not the Amos, it's actually this Asian girl.
Yeah.
Yes. So a small museum, a small library with transgender resources.
Yeah.
And what? And the most important thing at the Alicia Community Centre is like our counselling services.
Oh, we got a copy of it, Saint Jack.
Saint Jack. Yep, I have a copy of it right here.
I got the posters. Let me see. Okay. Jen is not there. Okay.
Oh, she's
The
not.
the transgender actress is still alive.
Oh, cool.
Yes. We never die. We survive like cockroaches.
All right. So other than a museum, what is there?
We also offer counselling services.
Yes.
So what is different is counsellors from my community counsel people from my community. So it's no longer the cis or the gay or the lesbian counsel. It's people from my own community. So they are peer and professional counselors. So we are trying to expand our counselling services. We're trying to expand our counselling because we have a waiting list now because of COVID-19.
Yes.
So we got a long waiting, not long now, okay, like modest with waiting list now. So we're trying to expand our counselling services if we got funding lah.
Is it hard to set that up? Because I'm imagining sort of if you said it's people from your community counseling people from your community. Is it hard to set that up, like to get the training, to get enough counselors, enough staff?
Don't have. That's why I'm so clever. That's why I can survive because so clever, so resourceful. I learned my resourcefulness from sex workers. So I tell you,
Yes.
that you always talk about reintegrating the transgender into society. We are all around you already. Sorry, we got social worker, therapists, counselors, doctors, teachers who identify as transgender. So it's very easy.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good to
because
hear.
they all got the skill set already. So I just need to blast it out, and then they come to me. So yeah, I got this skill set I want to counsel on.
So
it's
it's really
never
just about like having it in one place.
It's just like making it happen. So I hate the English word. June is never been done this way. I never think of sustainability lah. Must get counselor first lah. I always do it first because I always believe. I don't know like because I'm sex worker or because I'm a transgender person, so everybody like seems the standard put very low. So I must do it first. It must be there first before the people come. If I like your paper top it's on paper, nobody will say, oh yeah, do it, Juna. So I must make it a reality first. Once my center is up, oh my god, everybody come. Actually, I got this skill set. June, can I see? So there's no challenges. It's very easy.
Well, I mean, I also want to ask you a little bit of a personal question.
Oh,
right?
I love personal question. I'm waiting so long already.
Feel free to answer or not answer, but it's called Alicia Community Centre. Who is Alicia?
Alicia is the co-founder of T Project. So it's my elder sister who is also a transgender woman, but unfortunately she passed away in 2015. So all the work since 2015 is mine.
So I mean, sort of, why did you wanna? What is the symbolic value or meaning behind naming the shelter?
Okay,
after
everybody asked me this. Yeah lah. I mean, at the official answer I gave because I want to commemorate my sister to remember her, right? But just because I cannot find a new name.
Okay.
Because we were thinking calling it a Transgender Community Centre. Just to push the envelope. But then we realized if we put the word transgender, then nobody will come.
Okay.
Because what everybody come means you're trans, that's why you come to. So we want to choose a very generic name. And then sex worker. The easiest is like Alicia Community Centre. Sounds nice. So ACC, because Singaporeans are all about acronym. So ACC. Sounds nice. Not WCC. WC. So ACC sounds nice. Okay, sorry, I don't have that. Wow, all the what cliche because I want my sister. I don't have all. It's really for very pragmatic reason because the acronym look nice, sounds nice. ACC.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that makes a ton of sense to me. I'm sure she would like that.
Because of the blessing. I also feel like because of I never feel grief. I'm still grieving, yes, but I never feel because I still feel she's around me. I always feel like I can grow so much because of the blessing of my sisters. I always feel that if you stop talking about her or a person that passed away, they die another time. They die a second time. So always time name Alicia means people talking about her. So she's keeping her memory alive, keeping her alive, lor. But we all meet her one day. Yeah, she's a wonderful person. No? She never meet. PJ Tan never get to meet. Sean got no. PJ Tan never got to meet. Full of tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Really beautiful.
Damn it, she died so early because I always want to see and laugh at her because when they already tattoo look very ugly. I got no chance already. Oh my god.
All right. Yes. Okay. So what is the situation in Singapore like right now? So you mentioned just now that it's changed. It's kind of evolved. Back then there was a lot of difficulty, even coming from families kicking out and evicting trans people, and now there's a bit of a difference. So how would you say that the situation has kind of changed?
Okay, that time when I'm a transgender sex worker, I thought transgender women especially are all sex workers.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sex worker, so my world is a sex industry. I never really venture out one. Got very comfortable with my own community. I didn't know there's a whole lot that there are transgender social workers, transgender doctors. I didn't realize so naive that time. Okay, your question is.
Yeah. So how has the situation changed?
Okay. Yeah. So in the 60s, 70s, right? Because of parents are not so educated at that time.
Yes.
Not much education. Being gay is being seen as taboo already. Much less a transgender person. So when you come out right as a transgender person means there's a 360-degree change in your appearance, right? And then Asian value is the parents are Asian value means parents love you more if you are a lawyer or you are a university graduate lecturer, but they don't love you once you are transgender, come as transgender because of the shame. I think I don't know. You must ask parents. There's a special place for them. So they will evict their children out just on the basis that they are transgender.
Okay.
But now change already. Parents are now.
Wait. So just on the basis of being trans, they get kicked and then they can't come home.
I have scary stories like when the person come back, the door locked and then the belongings, one haversack of the belongings on the floor.
Oh my god. So it's really like get out.
And then the parents you're totally erased from the ancestral book already.
You're like, oh, okay.
You never exist. Did anyone got a missing uncle, missing third uncle, or missing second auntie? That could be the case.
Okay.
You got a non-exist. You know you got a third uncle but you never see before one.
And this happens at roughly around what age?
6. Oh, I have as young as primary 6.
Oh my. Like back then or
friend.
now?
Back
then. All right.
Now don't have it. Oh my god. Now I go to all the university at NTU, SMU, all got transgender students. So lucky got not the okay. I don't call them strawberry. Now I got transgender university student came out to me saying, "Joe, my parents don't love me." I said, "Oh my god, you're starting a year. Who is paying your school fees? My parents now. Where are you staying outside? No, I'm staying at my parents' house. And you tell me your parents don't love you. You go back home now and curtle to your parents every time you see them." But during my time, once you come out transgender, you are evicted out already. And at that time, no options. That time, the only options is I always call myself, okay, learn from the US one, survivor sex workers. When you are kicked out of a house 15 or 16 years old, you cannot attend school. You don't have the financial means to rent a place. You don't have the financial means to attend school. All this.
Yeah.
So and then because you don't have a degree or you 15 years old, 16 years old, right? So you can only work low wage job, 7-Eleven. So the 400, 500 you earn a month cannot sustain you because you need to pay for your food, you need to pay for your place to stay, you need to pay for cigarette, handphone. These are all basic needs. Then so they most likely will enter the sex industry. At that time, a transgender woman enter sex industry also seemed as a norm. So I myself also entered sex industry. I'm a regulated sex worker for like 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm so proud. Sex worker made me who I am today. Sex worker made me able to be a co-founder. Sex worker made me financial independent. Maybe the woman that I am. Maybe a filial daughter. Maybe a founder of NGO. Maybe a multiple award winner.
You said something very you said something quite interesting there, which is that you are a regulated sex worker. What does that mean, as opposed to unregulated?
So I don't work on the street. I work in one of the regulated brothels in Singapore.
All right. So that would be what, your licensed sex worker? Why are you giving that face?
I never said license, I said regulated.
Regulated. All right. So what is the difference here?
So I don't I don't have to work on the street law.
Is it?
So I don't have to solicit for sex.
Is that?
So it's a safe environment for me to work.
Okay. How does one sort of get into that?
Huh?
How does?
Yeah, let's move on now.
All right.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. All right. Okay. So that was the situation back then.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So one thing that I think is very important, but we kind of didn't touch on, is NS.
National service.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Because okay, if you are listen to my interview, you know I sex reaffirmative surgery at 17.
Yes.
So I don't need to attend NS. I'm exempted.
Oh.
Because gender marker changed. I'm
Okay.
female already, so I don't have to do that. So a lot of my friends, transgender person at that time, from them, was they entered if given a choice, of course they would not want to enter national service. But after they enter national service, they also have wonderful times there.
Okay.
They are still in contact with their care mates who also turn out to be transgender.
Oh, okay.
You see, so they have one. So if hindsight, just imagine if I was exempted, if I can go into NS and a room full of naked men. That's basic training for being a sex worker, right? PJ Thum, sorry. You haven't break you already or not? Cannot really. You cannot.
You succeeded on your agenda, but let's kind of get. I can.
But okay,
see,
wait.
Yeah,
But that having said that, that
Yes.
is like the fairy tale stuff. I also have very we have recently a client who's going to enter national service, and he came to Alicia Community Centre for counselling. And he got all this anxiety because it's going to it is at something that he don't wish to go.
Yeah.
So got anxiety. So we are now trying to gather all the resources to so called help him. Cannot reveal more.
Okay. All right. No worries. But the resources together to help.
To support him.
I imagine that for
support his mental health.
Yes.
Not to support him escape and not to support him to support his mental health.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So coming back to that, right? I can kind of see. Okay, yeah, you walk into a room full of naked men. I can see. I understand the joke. I understand the gist of that. But I also see that there could be a ton of difficulties, especially with the homophobia in NS, especially with that like macho culture. You know.
Of course.
Did you? I mean, does anyone close to you kind of experience that? Have any difficulties?
I'm sure they have.
All right.
I'm sure they all have. I'm sure they have, but I'm actually not the best person to answer your question because I never enter national services. Thank God for sex work again, because sex work made me financially stable. So at 17, I really got the financial means to go for gender reassignment surgery. See, oh my God, sex work. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I want to kind of actually now I'm quite curious here. I want to jump back into that a little bit. Okay.
Can.
Yes. So I want what is the community like? What is the sex worker community like in Singapore? Because you say that you okay. I remember before this interview you said I'm more proud of my sex work than my activism, right? And you talk about how sex work has made you into the woman that you are, has been this hugely beneficial force in your life. Why? Can you tell us why?
Because I see the lowest form of humanity already. So everything I see is going up already, no? I encountered the worst human being during my sex work, but I also encountered the best human being in my sex work. So I really trained, sex work really trained me to be an activist, really trained me to listen to my own voice. You know, when I started all this tea project, so many people say, wow, June, you should do this, you shouldn't do that. That's get the registration of my tea project. So 2016, we want to register the tea project just as a CLG, just as a company.
Wait, what's a CLG?
Company with limited liability. Limited guarantee, CLG.
Okay. All right.
So Project X is registered as a society.
Okay.
I'm registered as a CLG, company with limited. These two companies under these two structure can proceed to become charity.
Oh, okay.
So there's no there's no non-profit structure. There's no non-profit company in Singapore.
Sure.
So it's this two. Then something.
I mean,
Okay. So even the registration, so I was rejected. I registered 2000. I think I got 3 rejections. Three rejection. So then it was because my company profile is transgender shelter. So someone came up to me and said, June, why don't you take out the transgender word? So it just says shelter for the destitute. But I don't want to. I told her I don't want to erase my transgender identity again.
Yeah.
Then that sick person tell me, then you're doing it for yourself, not for the community. I overthink. Go home. Am I doing it for myself or not? I was thinking. Will I be lucky?
So how do you resolve that?
Don't listen to y'all lor.
Okay, that's good.
As usual, don't listen to y'all. Don't listen to the academia.
No lah, but I think
listen to myself. Listen to my inner sex worker voice lor. Had sleepless night. Had a lot of conversation with myself. Should I? But I still. Then finally, you see.
Yeah.
I got registered, and then my company profile, I think it's the first one. Shelter for transgender community. I put the LGBT term on official government papers. Okay, I need my statue, my plaque, and my picture.
I mean, hopefully that's coming soon. But
thank you. I said so many times already. I wishing someone would do it.
I mean, you already have a museum, right? So we have a place to put it. But anyway, so I noticed also on your website, right? You say, okay, T Project is for the assistance of female trans people. Where are the male trans people in this?
I must correct you again.
Okay.
Never do homework. It's a shelter for the transgender community. I never specified trans woman or trans man because on the first day I welcome both transgender women, transgender men. I also welcome PL-HIV, person living with HIV who identify as transgender. And if you see clearly, we say our admission criteria, we say person identify as transgender.
Yeah.
So you don't need to transition.
Okay.
So you can say, if Sean come and tell me you are a trans woman, and you need a place to stay, I will not judge you. Yes, if you identify as transgender woman, your truth is my truth.
Yeah.
And so you don't need to say I'm a trans woman, you must have long hair, got breast. You don't need identify as a transgender person. But then I'm very happy to tell you all. Again, people say T Project not inclusive why blah blah blah. Okay, but then I never listen to you all again. It's only when I receive email inquiries from people who want to find a shelter for their gay clients. Yeah. That I see, actually there is a need. So since late 2019, T Project, the shelter is not transgender specific. Is the shelter is for LGB and transgender community. So we really have 2 gay persons stay at the shelter since late 2000. Inclusive, right?
So I mean, a lot of the conversations that we've been having here have been so.
Okay, wait, Fox. Before I can. So now we got 3 transgender women, 2 transgender men, and 2 gay persons stay at the shelter. Just to tell you, we got trans men.
So how is it sort of? What are sort of the unique issues and struggles that trans men face? Because you've talked about the struggles of trans women. What are sort of the unique situation trans men are in?
Okay, I don't know the unique situation, but there's one commonality, like bring all the. Though they can come with different challenges, different issues. That's why I stay at shelter. But one common thread is they all got 0 family support.
Okay.
0. That's the common thread. They all got 0 family support. That's why the challenges are so difficult to overcome. Correct. Now you've got a place to go. And the trans men challenge are a bit different because trans men are much more in charge. I don't know, because we are perhaps what's the word, patriarchy society, right? So a man wanting to be a woman seems to be a weak, not so acceptable, but woman wanting to be a man stronger, want to be a stronger sex. I don't know. This one you might write a 10,000 word thesis. I really don't know, but the challenges are really different. So the transgender male that come to my shelter are not how should I cannot confidentiality review where they angry.
No worry. Yeah.
So there are trans men person. The challenges are really different.
Okay.
Challenges are different. Yes.
Okay. I mean, now I just want to get into sort of, do you have any future plans? Are there any things that are coming up that you want to do that you're already in the works?
If you
Because
ask
like
me,
you said, you're not resting. You don't rest, right?
Go buy Toto lor. Strike Toto, then I don't work. So tired, so draining the work. Really serious is very tired. One woman band is really very tired. How I can strike Toto? Okay, that's one of my immediate needs.
Okay.
Strike Toto. Then perhaps to raise visibility more lor.
Okay.
Perhaps now I started a shelter, started a Alicia Community. Now my wish is that every again learn from PAP. Sorry, every constituency got one Alicia Community Centre.
Okay.
And I want to name every community centre a different name. So the next one, perhaps I actually thinking of naming Yakim Hao Community Centre.
Okay.
Because somehow it's like my mentor. I remember Yakim Hao. I hate religion one. I hate anything that do not support transgender people, or anything whether it's religion or who see me as wrong. People always say, Junior got religion, say I don't have. Then why you never had a religion? I said, why should I go and find a religion? I write my own religion, no. If I'm a good person, the religion will come to me, what? So nobody yet. So Yakim Ha always, when I met Yakim Ha, very cynical.
Yeah.
So I always ask Yakim Ha, where will I go when I die? Because thinking I'm a transgender person, sex worker should go hell or whatever. But he surprised me. He said, you will go where I go. So he actually normalized me, actually put me on the same pedestal as a pastor. Oh my God, as a bishop. Wow, inspire us, not workshop again, huh? Inspire. Wow, that really inspired me. That really inspired. Then actually helped me to get into that time Social Service Institute to get a diploma in social service. Then people ask me, why don't you continue why don't you continue to get a degree? I said, why should I get further studies? Say, then I can help your community. Then I said, I'm helping my community already. What? Correct. Now just distract me. All the does I need a university degree, a white collar job, or speak good English in order to be seen as an activist?
Clearly not.
Yeah.
I made PJ Tan say that. So I want to see more people coming out. More people from. And the funny thing is that I very hesitate to. You see, very hesitate. That's why I'm here. I want to change your whole image because everybody activists in Singapore is very anti-government. I know y'all are not. Just like the way y'all do things. So maybe perhaps coming up here and show people that we are all the same, just that we do things differently, but we are all doing good. We are all doing our own. We are all doing our own good, lor. That's why I'm here.
I mean, that's one of the great things that I feel like the show has really highlighted and you're really bringing out today, right? Which is that activism is really not monolithic, right? Everybody is kind of different, right? We got a rapper, we got comedians, now there's June. It's all over the place, right? It's different.
No, but then I see you say rapper, all this, but then I see before me, university degree, most likely graduate, most likely stay or work overseas before.
I mean, Pretty doesn't have a degree, right?
Oh, university one,
Pretty,
she graduate.
Oh
my God, talk about Pretty. Pretty, please put me on your show. Pretty, please. I want to be in your show. I love it.
You love being
although
on
I never
show.
click like, but I love it. Hello, Pretty, invite me. Let's do a trans-specific show. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask also, but like, so you mentioned visibility. That's like the first thing on your mind, right? Which is, I kind of felt like that was quite interesting because, you're not thinking about like, the first thing on your mind is not, okay, policy change. The first thing on your mind is not more funding, right? It's visibility. Why is visibility so important?
Because I want people to see us, ma. When you all see us, then the funding will naturally come, ma.
So
correct. I don't want people. I don't want to. Okay, let me.
Okay, think of it. Then.
So I want visibility because we are already in the society already. Why? Just that we are already. As I say, I see my community as a very capable person. T Project is already helping the homeless already. We already have counseling service already. So what's next? problematic and really so much nice visibility for the rest of my transgender community, for the rest of my transgender community who are teachers, doctors, who are transgender father, transgender mother. So visibility. When the visibility comes, then people I always don't want to educate people pronounce or prefer name. I like to educate people to see us. I want to educate people to see that we. How should I put it? That's why this is the time when I say why I never study hard, why I leave school early. I don't have the pocket. Can we move? Can we like later? Let me collect my thoughts first.
Yeah, first. You think? Just take all the time.
Visibility. Okay, I never educate the people about pronounce or prefer identity. I want people to see us as individual first. So to we are more than pronounce or more than prefer name. We are more than our gender identity. We are all among you already. I want the people to see that. So that my biggest funder is actually from the cisgender population.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, we always end off with this question, right? Which is...
Ending already?
What do you want to...
I just into the groove.
Did we miss out? Did we miss out anything here?
Huh?
Is there anything in particular you want to talk about?
Okay, yes, that's one. The activist community or activist scene here are very illicit. I don't know whether you edit out or not. So I want to see more people, more you're interviewing more people from the community. You know, your activists always want to like... I don't know lah. The impression you all give me is very top down lor.
Elitist lah.
Not only elitist, very sometimes very condescending. Sometimes very condescending. Sometimes like I don't know. Is it me? Is it the chick on my blog that I feel like that? Other people don't feel like that.
No, it is a very privileged space. So we're trying to
I hesitate to use the word privilege, but since you mentioned correct. I cannot like. Don't pay a fine and go to jail because I got parents to look after, I got house loan to after, I got livelihood, I got my own livelihood. But I love you out, Jonathan.
No, I mean the way that I see it is kind of like you need both sides, right? You need sort of people from like these privileged spaces, right? Because you know they are the ones who are gonna speak to that privileged language to privileged powerful people, and then we also need people on the ground. We need people who are gonna do the real work, right? And so you need kind of both of them, right? That's the way I see it.
Okay, but then if you say like that, you need your privileged language to speak to privileged people. That means I shouldn't be here. It should be a minister.
Both sides. You need both sides.
Then I shouldn't be here. If you're doing like what y'all can speak the privileged language to privileged people, right?
Yeah.
Then someone privileged should be already here already. What a minister should be already here. Already.
No, if we're talking to a minister, then we have to go and put on the British accent and then go and talk to them with all the law terms.
Don't have my minister don't have British accent.
But for
very homely, really serious, but a bit intimidated. My staff, my volunteer told me don't over the top. I was like just 20% of June Chua that day. Yeah. Just 20%.
So if we want visibility in the university, then we have to write university language. But if we want visibility to the average person, then we bring June on and then
but then I always see why y'all are like more Chinese speaking activists. Where are y'all? You're around, right? You're around, right? Chinese speaking activists, are they around?
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I cannot see them there. And then it's small sex worker activists there. I don't want the one living in Ivory Tower telling the people below the Ivory what to do.
Well, that's why I give this platform to you, right? I'm not here trying to tell people what to do. I'm here trying to give a platform to you.
But I had to self-invite.
Well, okay, so it's an open invitation for anyone, any activist to come on, regardless of background. If you're trying to make a difference in Singapore, please come on the show. Follow June's example.
And I made PJ Thum say that. So don't worry, I lost my thought already, you see lah. I really wanted to come here, also helping my fellow activists to tell those that follow me that we are all doing our own. Oh, sorry. Okay, enough already. I said. Okay, yes. Any last question?
Last question. What's your sort of theory of change? What inspires you to keep doing the work that you're doing?
Okay, so again, I don't have a cliche answer, like supporting my community because it made me happy. The work I do now makes me happy. I don't know why. It really make me.
What's like the most rewarding part of your job? Because you gave up, special edition Louis Vuitton for this. So what is it that draws you to it?
I also thought I gave out limited edition Louis Vuitton. And you are the second person to ask me. But then after I do all this work, I realized needs and wants can be so simple. Now, just like Earl Grey tea, okay, like a bit atas Earl Grey tea and a cake or a detective book. I'm not rereading Agatha Christie collection. Just will make me happy.
Okay.
So instead of I want to like empower my so-called homeless community. I actually learn so much. I actually learn so much from them. Seriously. So my needs and wants are much more simpler. And then but I still very talkative lor. Something I still talk like machine gun. This one I cannot change. Why Peter Jam like me? So again, my question
No. What's the most fulfilling part of it, of your work?
The official is when I see more and more transgender person feel safe to come up, feel safe to review their true authentic self. That's my KPI. So I don't see the success of this project. Wow, got 5 shelters, got we counsel like wow the numbers, the graph, we counsel 500 people, blah blah blah. I don't see that as my KPI. I see my KPI is one person come out and feel safe to come out to live their fairy tale life, and in some small way, this project help make Singapore society safer for them to come out. Then I think I have accomplished. Again, I have to mention I want my statue, my picture, and my plaque. Don't wash me away again,
Okay,
yes.
So for people who've listened to this all the way to the end,
they will lah.
Yeah, of course. Well,
so entertaining.
Oh yeah. This has been like I think the most fun,
high energy.
Yeah. But for people who want to reach out and help you, right? Maybe you can tell us how much does it? Can you share like how much money do you need to support the Tea Project, Alicia Community Centre, like everything you need over the course of a year, and how much do you actually need to raise from the public as donations?
I don't know I don't have I must raise this amount. I don't know. I just my volunteer asked me, John, why don't you must say donate? My motto is let the river flow.
Wow.
If you are doing good work, right, everything will resolve. I don't know, perhaps because the project is very blessed till now.
Yeah.
We are very blessed till now that we constantly got people we constantly got people doing private donation to the tea. We although we got no like official government funding so far, but we always got people who donate to us. And then people ask why got really people ask me why. Okay, because my work shine lor. Then got people ask me why does minister come and visit your shelter? Oh, because I'm Erin Brocklery. I did 623 blowjobs to the staff. That's why they come down. No, because my work shines.
You got it.
Because you see my work, right? I mean, when my educated university degree holder asked me this question, I found it's very... Yeah, I don't know what they want to ask me. I really don't know what they want me to say. Why the minister come down? I really don't know. Okay, then... Sorry.
Okay, so people can go. What's your website if they want to donate?
Yes. Donate. Now COVID-19, right? You cannot have whole atas party. You cannot go to overseas, right? So you donate that savings to the tea so they can exist for 5 years and 10 years later. As I said, we can be the biggest advocacy group.
Right.
When I'm not around,
Yes. This is teaproject.org.
Tea Project SG. You put the link there lah.
It'll be in the link in the show notes. Don't worry.
So clever one. Subtitle.
But sometimes people listen, they don't look at the show notes.
Oh, the Tea Project SG.
Teaproject.sg. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Peter Tan cannot already.
This has been awesome. Seriously. Will you come back in a couple of months or something?
Do not got backlash or not If me everything okay. Of course I come back lah. After a Chinese speaking activist appeared, after another activist from the community, after or activists who do not live or work overseas before, who do not have a degree, who do not live in a condo. After that I will come. Okay. After that I will come.
I mean, that's our goal. We want to try and make that happen. Yeah.
Yes,
all of that's doable.
Please.
I don't know about the Chinese. As everyone knows, my Chinese cannot make it. But I'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, because my most dreaded one, it's never been done this way or it cannot be done this way.
Yes,
that's my
true.
most dreaded sentence.
We'll make it happen. We'll find a way to make it happen. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show, June, Chua. So if you're interested, please go and check out the Tea Project. You can find them on Facebook or on their website as well. Please donate or volunteer. They're doing amazing work here. And thank you so much, PJ, for having us on the show.
I feel so much I need to say. I still got so much to say, but
No, we'll have you back. You can come
There's
back.
like a part 2 coming in a couple of months. Yeah. We'll do the part 2. We'll call you. Yeah.
Okay, and thank you, June. Thank you,
Thank
Sean, as always, for being such a fantastic co-host. Thank you to you, our listener, for joining us today, sharing your time with us. And as always, if you like what you've heard, if you like what we do, please do support New Narrative. We also need lots of support. newnarrative.com/join or donate at newnarrative.com/donate. Thank you very much and see you next time.
Stay where you are. We've come way too far. Where you think that you're gonna go? This